Faith communities can play a key role in ending violence and abuse in families. If someone in your church confides in you about abuse, your response can make the difference. And here today to talk more on the subject is Pastor Jonas Oriental to help us learn the difference between helping and harming. To understand why domestic and family violence is a problem in our churches, we must be willing to have a conversation about violence, power, gender roles, and marriage within the wider faith community. This conversation explores how the Bible speaks about key areas that are often used against women, such as violence, power, forgiveness, repentance, and submission. So please tune in and welcome Pastor Jonas with us today. Part 1. Pastor Jonas, it's a pleasure to have you with us today.
It's a pleasure to be here.
International Women of Hope and the agents welcome you into our home.
You.
And I know you are officially an agent of hope as well.
Yes, ma'am.
So in the beginning, we asked each of our guests to choose a cup. And you chose this beautiful cup here with this word, purpose.
Yes, ma'am.
What does purpose mean to you?
Purpose means a lot to me. Without purpose, it's like somebody who heading somewhere with no direction.
Mm-hmm.
Once you have a purpose, then when you have an idea where you're going.
That's right. That's beautiful. So before we start, we know you, but I want you to introduce yourself to the community. We're doing this as a form of bringing awareness, talking about issues that the community sometimes sweeps under the rug, and you being a spiritual leader, a man of faith, we decided to have you as a guest to have your voice on the matter of domestic violence as it pertains to the church, the spiritual leaders. So please introduce yourself to the community and let us know what you do.
I'm a pastor, so I'm a father and husband, a father of 4 boys. So been married for 14 years. In the community, I do the best that I can to help to educate those in the spiritual forms. But there's other things. You have to be a husband at the same token.
Yeah.
So that sets in for me as an individual who live in this community.
Okay. How long have you been in the community?
Person in Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
back and forth for this time it's been 5 years.
Okay. And you are of Haitian descent.
Oh yes, over 200% Haitian. So
Okay.
I was born and raised in Haiti.
Okay.
I was born. Thank you for bringing that up to me, please. And you cannot bypass that big H in my forehead. So I was born and raised in Haiti. Came to the United States, but when I was 19 years old.
Okay. So my first question to you, Pastor Jonas, is what is the role of a spiritual leader, a pastor, in a community that is dealing with domestic violence?
The role of a pastor first. A pastor has many roles. One of them being a spiritual voice in domestic violence is one of them, as far as to prevent that. So I know you probably heard a lot of people talking about domestic violence, a form of submissions, or form as far stay there and take it. That is not a job of a pastor. As a matter of fact, the Bible speaks against it plainly.
Okay. Well, that leads me to my next question, because a lot of times when women are going through some forms of abuse in the home, and they put their trust in the church in their pastors. They have been known to go and tell what's going on. And as you mentioned earlier, some of the advice has been to quote the Bible where it says wife must submit to their husbands. You have to endure the pain. That's what you signed up for. Or you said there are other scriptures in the Bible that speaks against it. Are there any training provided to pastors or anyone in the church to better deal with this situation?
As for the questions, are there trainings? Yes, there are trainings. To deal with the second part of the question 1st, then I will elaborate a little bit about the submission part. Training, yes. Are there trainings in this community? Yes, there are. But the question needs to be, we need to ask, are most of the leaders willing to get off the spiritual horse and go to the trainings to train themselves, to educate themselves, so they can pass on that information to their flocks, to the people that they are pastoring. So it's not, the trainings are always there. As a matter of fact, the Bible itself is a training against that.
I like that.
So the second part of this, as far as submission, let's deal with the two words. The Bible itself is plain, explicit, explain what is submission. Submission, you can define that as a way of God. So it's just two words. It's because people always take one part and leave the other one. You cannot take submission without take love. Submission and love, it's the best secret key that God gave mankind to unlock the beauty of marriage. So submission is something you do willingly. So that means I'm willing to submit the moment you're willing to love. So if I love, like God asked me to love the women, just like if I'm asking you to love, I love somebody, it's easy for me to say it versus acting up on what God asked me to do. It's easy for me to, because submission is not something you do to oppress people. As a matter of fact, God speaks highly about oppression. For example, if you take the Bible and Luke chapter 4, the very reason why God came is for the oppressed. He said, I came to give life, to set the captives free, to provide healings and help the oppressed. So submission does not mean to be too willing to let somebody oppress you. It's something that you do, you give freely.
Right.
You know, women willing to help, willing to do anything when you're doing what it's supposed to be. There's a whole setting, there's a whole study about this. I could speak on and on and on and on about this. I pray this is not a fact, this is not the truth. Leaders or spiritual leaders, pastors, not saying this to people. Stay there and take the blow and take the abuse, take the note. I pray so. This is not the message we are sending.